guys, I am Chris Kaler.
And I'm Amber from Kyuujin, and we're back today with The Sopranos, episode 7, first season.
Down neck. Last episode, we found out that because of his new status as boss, Uncle Junior, his head has gone like this.
He's becoming reckless.
Yep, he's doing things his own way, which means he's not, above raising the tax or taxing people that have never been taxed. He's changing the rules. He's not honoring the way things used to be. He's also okay with just killing people in broad daylight in front of witnesses, like it's no big deal. So Tony had to, he had to do some damage control because one of his friends who was never taxed before now had to pay a huge sum every month. So he had to, help out a little bit. He got New York involved too. He convinced his uncle to still get some money from his friend, but also act like, okay, I'm giving back a little bit to everyone. Like in his mind, it's like he's owning all of them and he's controlling them. He's fucking them all. Yeah. But really it's keeping them happy. And that's what we want. But at the end of the episode, when they were toasting the new boss, we saw that there was a undercover guy with a little camera who got pictures of everyone there, and now I don't know if it's the feds or something, but there are definitely people involved looking after who's in charge, who's doing things. They have their photos, they have their names, and they have a board with targets and shit. So
and now they know who's the new boss now.
Yes, and we're on that board, so it's gonna be tricky. Also, Tony came out to his therapist and he told her that he was in love with her. He also kissed her.
Yeah, but she told him, you're not in love with me. It's just because you're making progress. Yeah, not the same thing.
Obviously, she is everything he wants because she's kind of like a mother figure. She listens and all of that. Carmela is also making moves. She's trying to give him what he's been lacking in their relationship to try and have a better, marriage. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, he's obsessed with Dr. Melfi, so we'll have to see what happens there. Let's jump in this episode and see what they have in store for us. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of these, and check out our Patreon for the full-length reactions.
Alright, let's go.
Don't break it. Quick, it's almost time for the nun's rosary.
Oh, they went to steal the wine?
All clear. Are you gonna confess?
I guess you wouldn't know where to find it.
Move it up, let's go, boys. Hustle, 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 hustle. Prano di Calucha, shake a leg.
Are they drunk?
Well, if they drank the whole thing, probably.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Or they're just really bad at PE.
What's so funny back there, gentlemen? You care to share?
Sorry, Mr. Mestamid.
You do not drink a bottle of wine before PE.
Whoa.
He'll throw up all over.
I don't feel so good.
I don't want any excuses.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Is that alcohol in your breath?
Oh, no.
Yep. And that means don't know. I don't know if you'll give a shit, but the school might care.
I think he would care if his 12-year-old son drank a whole bottle of wine.
Yeah, but...
I've asked Dr. Galani, he's our school psychologist, to join us. Why don't you pick it up from there, Doctor?
But he knows stuff about us now. What if he starts talking to someone and he mentions something?
Anthony sometimes has trouble following the rules.
Yes.
Weighing consequences.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think so?
It's thought that there's a good possibility Anthony could be ADD. I'm sorry, attention deficit disorder. We'll need to give him a thorough evaluation.
That's what I'm
All he
afraid
needs is a
of.
whack upside the head.
If he's got an illness, you'd hit somebody with polio?
Yeah, but his generation doesn't believe in that. Mental health problems.
It's a crime to suspend that child from school with all the money
He
you give
stole
them.
wine. He was drunk in school.
Hey, whatever happened, the boys will be boys.
Well, it's not a good mentality.
Oh, his father was the same way. I practically lived in that vice principal's office.
Somehow I'm not surprised.
You only remember what you want to remember. Well, I must have had another son who stole a car when he was 10 years old.
Ooh, don't say that in front of the kids, though.
He was a hellion, this one. Him and his little crew.
That's giving him ideas. You don't say that in front of kids.
I don't want that kind of talk in front of this kid. That stuff is wrong, and I don't condone it.
Like, if my dad did it, I guess I can do it too.
You are not to play Mario Kart or go skateboarding for 3 weeks. And no TV. And every day you're going to ride your bike to the Green Grove retirement home and visit Grandma.
That's a punishment.
Not fair.
It could be so much worse, man.
Well, the stuff that doctor was saying, I never saw any of that in Anthony.
Are you paying attention?
If he even has this thing.
Something's going on.
You think he knows?
I don't know. She knows.
Are you
Really? What makes you say that?
in
Things she says, you know, she makes remarks.
Are you in the mafia?
She talked to you?
Both of your kids. No.
He's always trying to keep the two lives separate, so now they're doing this.
Something happened on that college trip.
Mm-hmm.
Happened.
Interesting flashbacks.
Yeah.
I don't know. She seemed peculiar when she got back.
Because she knows what happened. She can guess. She's not dumb.
I think pretty soon we're gonna have to talk to her about the business.
Yeah.
And with him, they'll give him a test and we'll see what's what.
She should never have told her brother. He's way too young. There's way too many chances that he's gonna say something. Or that he's gonna act out based on that.
Yeah.
We talked about this. Like just at dinner when he was saying like, oh, he used to do that sort of shit. He's so, really, like he's in awe.
Yeah.
He got in a little trouble.
So you don't consider his behavior out of the norm?
I do, but whether it's ADD or everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see his behavior as a reflection of your own?
And his dad was also in the business, so maybe that's why he acted out.
You know, if he's got this thing, we'll deal with it. You pick up the pieces and you go on from there.
Mm-hmm.
You think I should go easy on him now or press him a little harder?
Well, that's difficult to say.
Are you gonna raise? Figure this out?
Damn. Him and feelings. Mm-mm. Oh, cool choice of a song.
Johnny, come on!
When he was younger.
We're going back. I was like, man, he looks like Uncle Junior.
Did you hear the game last night?
My mom made me go to bed.
Anthony, why aren't you on your way to school? We're going to my sister's tonight, and you promised to bring a pork loin.
Non-stop! Don't you get sick of yourself?
And he even dresses like his dad. He's dressed the same.
Pay attention to what those teachers tell you, you hear me, Anthony?
Okay.
But yeah, he'll be comparing his relationship with his dad to his relationship with his son. I believe they are similar, for similar reasons.
Come on, move, guys! Move! Hey, John, one more day, man. There's gonna be a huge payoff, man.
And he's gonna see his father doing his job like this.
As a child, like, how do you process this?
What's the term again? Quand un jeune est impressionnable.
Easily impressed?
Influenced. Like children are like sponge, they're gonna suck up everything that they learn around them. And usually when they're younger, their parents are like some sort of hero for them, like they're role models.
Well, he dresses exactly the same, so it's kind of like he tried to become his father.
How did you and your father get along?
Good. Everybody liked him. He knew how to have a good time. But he wasn't around much.
How did you feel about that? About your father being engaged in illegal activities?
I never really knew about it.
But you kind of did.
Are you concerned that your son is going to find out about you?
He dreamt about it.
That doesn't sound like Anthony. Yesterday he's a little boy. Today I gotta worry about him.
You didn't pay attention, but he's been acting out for a while.
Fighting with kids and stuff, yeah.
Kevin and Matt, they ever ask you about this thing on us?
I lied through my teeth, but they knew. They love me anyway.
It's hard to raise kids in an information age, you know, to protect them.
Yeah, but they still live in the environment, so... And when you tell them lies, they'll seek out the truth on their own.
And what do you think is going on this one, Anthony?
Someone is about to cut the horse's head and put it in a bed.
Where do you think he is?
Out buying food for the horse.
Providing.
Yep.
And maybe he's watching South Park. Number 1 is supposed to be on tonight.
Yeah.
South Park. He's just like, hey, that episode of South Park. And he's like,
Let's play Scrabble.
I don't think so, Ren. I'm kind of wiped. They sent me to a psychiatrist all morning. I took like 1 million tests, you know, because I got suspended and everything.
They sent you to a psychiatrist?
this is the sort of reaction that explains why Tony doesn't say anything about the therapist.
Dad goes.
He does not.
You're aware of this?
Yes, he does.
To a psychiatrist?
Yeah.
This is really bad.
She might tell him, Junior.
I heard him and Mom talking about it.
No, kid, no.
You really messed up here.
He goes to talk about his mother.
Yeah, but if words keep
He
spreading
complains.
Shit.
She didn't do this. She did that.
and the resentment is gonna grow even more, and she'll go out and just fucking send Junior on him again. You do not know the amount of damage you just did, kid.
I'm going crazy with this shit. What he knows, what he doesn't know. He's gonna find out eventually. What difference does it make? Me, my father. It's probably in the genes, right? Then you got Leopold and Loeb. They cornhole and murder this kid for fun, and their father was a successful businessman, a fucking millionaire.
I think it's important to remember. He who doesn't understand history is doomed to repeat it.
Yep. What changed you when you found out that makes you afraid that your kid is gonna learn?
What are you doing?
I'm getting in the car.
Where are you going?
Someplace.
Can I come too?
Your mother wants you to help her get the screens down to the basement.
My mother was inside, cooking the meat for the gravy.
It isn't fair.
I don't want to hear about that stupid electric organ anymore. You won't give me a moment's peace.
If Janice wanted, she'd get it. Janice always gets everything she
Why
wants.
do I have a bad feeling about this?
That's because your sister does as she's told.
I forgot. Janice never does anything wrong. She's just perfect.
You're driving me crazy!
She really had a short fuse.
She was high-strung, my mother, very dramatic.
I could stick this fork in your eye.
God damn.
She wasn't gonna do it.
No, you freaked out back
That's
then.
why I'm remembering all this. On account of where they were going. I found out a couple of Sundays later.
That's when he stole the car?
Or he's gonna hide in the trunk. So when they go, he'll be there.
I really hope that I'm wrong, but why do I have this idea that the father abused the sister?
I don't know. She seems really excited, so
Janice, keep your sticky fingers off the car or just
I did
whack the
think
damn
about
thing.
possibly that, but hopefully not. Okay. I think she's more like some sort of alibi. Like, yeah, he took her to like justify going there, but there's a deal happening.
Okay.
You felt your father was showing favoritism.
Thank you.
I still remember that feeling in the pit of my stomach.
You did not realize that he was using her to do the business.
But how does this pertain to the situation with your son?
Because this amusement park was where I found out that my father wasn't like other fathers.
He really dresses up exactly like his dad.
Yeah.
It's okay, honey. You go home to mommy, sweetheart.
He was jealous of his sisters. That's not anything to be jealous of. You're putting kids through this, having them witness this, and no wonder they're screwed up.
That must have been devastating.
Turned out it was no big deal.
To see your father handcuffed, being led away by the
You're
police.
minimizing the trauma.
He went to jail?
No, he came home in a couple of hours.
That didn't take long. You must be in good with your video.
Those stupid cops. They went to the wrong place. Arrested the wrong guy.
Johnny boy, show those fucking sons of bitches.
What's up, Rocco?
The man your father beat up was the same one who was congratulating him?
Yeah? What?
She's seeing a bunch of issues, man.
This is the part when I'm supposed to tell you how terrible my father was and the terrible things he did to me and how he ruined my life. But I'll tell you something, I was proud to be Johnny Soprano's kid.
Yeah, because people put him on the pedestal around you.
Do you think that's how your son feels about you?
Yeah, probably. But that's the bind I'm in, because I don't want him to be like me.
Have you communicated any of this to your son?
Not in so many words. And what difference would it make? You said so yourself. It's hereditary.
Not necessarily.
It's not a destiny written in stone. People have choices.
I think it's his way of explaining why he did what he did. Like, he had no choice.
It's difficult to break out of the cycle.
I think
but
he
you can still manage.
I know I've had the rough Rocco up because of money, but that guy's got a fucking brain. He's gonna open a new book out there, and after that gets up, we get a little cash flow going.
Oh, Mr. Cashflow, big businessman now.
Reno is growing by leaps and bounds, Lydia. After Rocco gets the book up, he's gonna open a new supper club. He wants me to run it.
A supper club. Are you drunk?
Every time I try to do something, me and the kids will go without you.
They are not going anywhere. I'd rather smother them with a pillow than take them to Nevada.
Always with the drama.
He's a traumatized child.
Do you think his father wants to give something else to his children. And he couldn't because of
It's
the
like
mom.
he saw opportunities and he was never allowed to chase them because of the situation. It's so hard to get out of the business, and if your wife is also keeping you in it, that doesn't help. But this is about to be really, really bad.
You shouldn't be so hard on.
He's talking to a psychiatrist.
Overbrook State Mental Hospital.
What?
Hey, Uncle Joe. How you doing?
Hey. You see what a good boy comes to visit his mother?
Oh no, she knows stuff and she wants to say.
We gotta try and catch a ball game.
Yeah, you got my number. All right.
He's so full of himself since becoming Papa regime. It makes me sick.
God damn, she plays
She
all
never
the parts.
stops.
Yeah, she uses people around her, and then she talks behind her backs.
You know, they moved to Nevada. They're billionaires now.
So the opportunity worked.
Didn't Dad want to go with him?
Oh, well, Rocco just got them all worked up, that's all. What is this?
Dad wanted to go with him. You wouldn't let him.
You just tell me one time your father didn't do exactly as he wanted.
Maybe this was his chance to get out. Maybe with a little bit of support, you know?
Oh, Mr. Sensitive now. Well, if it bothers you, maybe you better talk to a psychiatrist.
What are you talking about, a psychiatrist?
Well, that's what people do when they're looking for somebody to blame for their life, isn't it?
You're a real stone player, aren't you, Ma? Everybody thought Dad was the ruthless one, but I gotta hand it to you. If you'd been born after those feminists, you would have been the real gangster.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, keep denying. She's been using, manipulating, pushing people. Apparently she did that back then too, so.
The APA standard is for the subject to manifest 6 out of 9 possible symptoms of ADD. Anthony manifested 5. He often has difficulty awaiting his turn, is often quote-unquote on the go or acts as if driven by a motor, often interrupts, and often fidgets with hands or feet.
And that's a sickness, to fidget.
It's a
Mr.
sign.
Soprano, it's one of 9 possible symptoms.
What constitutes a fidget?
Trying to drop it to 4.
I mean, so what if he fidgets? He's in school. Who doesn't fidget in school?
Anthony is a borderline case.
Well, he's not a case. He's a 13-year-old boy. He's a kid who made a mistake, and he's gonna pay for it. But he's gonna be fine. Come on.
There's nothing wrong with ADD.
Yeah.
You just need to be able to handle it.
He's so desperate to be like, my kid is gonna be fine. There's no way he's gonna have issues. He's gonna be great.
By acting like this, you're like just evading the subject.
And you're also robbing him of a chance to get some support and help.
You're doing just like your mother.
Studying?
I'm depressed.
You're not depressed. You're sad and you're angry because you did something stupid and you got grounded.
It isn't fair.
Dude.
When you do,
Got that right.
I cannot say when you do bad stuff, you cannot live without consequences because your dad is doing it right now.
Can I have one too?
This one's yours.
And those scarlets chasing rabbits, and you know, tell them all.
It is sweet, but I don't know, man.
It is sweet.
I feel like
whipped
he's.
cream.
The thing is, he could be. When he wants to, he's a great father, but I feel like he's doing that because he wants his son to see him as a good dad. Despite everything else.
I completely understand. You want your children to be proud of you. You don't want to be an embarrassment for them. You want to be a good example for them. But with the life that you're living right now, has someone doing illegal stuff, you cannot be encouraging your children to follow in your footsteps.
To admit that his son did something bad, to have him go through his punishment severely, to face the issue would mean that he's accepting that his son has a chance to turn out like him. So that he has issues, that he's going through some stuff, that he caused this. Because I feel like he's constantly he's remembering his father a certain way. And just like he did with his mother by saying like, oh yeah, I mean, I love my mom. She did her best. Like he's trying to cover up all the shit she did, and he remembers the shit, but it's like he's trying to forget it and he's focusing on the good, or he's making up some good, expressing himself by saying like, yeah, I mean, she had no choice, or my father was still loved by many people. Like he's trying to make things nice in his memory, because to face the truth would mean acknowledging that they messed him up. They, traumatized him. They sent him on this path, and the fact that he's constantly saying like, I want my kid to do better, I want my kid to do like to end up in a better position, to not be like me. If you were proud of yourself, of what you're doing, you would want your kids to do the same, right? You'd want your kids to follow a similar path or something, but he doesn't want them anywhere close to this world. So in my opinion, and the way he says also that, oh, we're predisposed, but it's destiny, basically, like it's in the genes. I think he's trying to be like, oh, because my father was in this, I had no other choice. But he resents that deep down. I think he resents that he ended up there, that he's who he is now, and he's afraid that his son is gonna do the exact same thing.
Do you think that he blamed his own father and mother to have put him in that situation to begin with?
I don't know about blame, because I think he's lying to himself and he's blinding himself to what truly happened.
Because if you think about it, his father was doing illegal stuff. He saw him without any consequences. His mother did not let his father go to Nevada to try to have a better life, to try to get out of that life.
I think with his mom, he's starting to face the facts, and he confronted her this episode by saying like, oh, if it wasn't for you, maybe dad would have gotten out. Like maybe he'd have a better chance at life, and I think he's implying that maybe he would not have had to do this job, to follow suit. But that's because she's around. Like, we talked about this in another reaction, but how do you confront someone who's no longer there to defend themselves, right? So his dad is dead. There's no way for him to blame him on anything, and he doesn't want to tarnish the image he had of his dad. And since he's doing the exact same job, it's emotionally very difficult for him to admit that he wishes he'd be somewhere else. He wishes he'd be someone else. But I strongly believe that those feelings are there, that he doesn't like this life that he chose, and he doesn't want to admit that he chose it because he resents it so much. So by saying it was doomed to happen, he's kind of lifting the blame off of a lot of shoulders.
So what, he doesn't want to tarnish the memory of his father?
Yep, exactly. Because he was in this episode when he was remembering his dad, there were two visions, like two versions of his dad that we saw. We saw the facts from his own eyes as a child, him getting arrested, him beating up someone, and then we would go back to him being like, oh, well, I mean, he just roughed someone up, or just minimizing by saying, yeah, he roughed us up as well, like it was no big deal, or he went to jail. That's shocking. But then he's saying like, I mean, it was a small time thing, it didn't mean anything. My mother's way of seeing it changed my opinion of it. Or just seeing him coming back home right after, like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Or seeing the people that he beats up congratulating him, because to be fair, I believe that, I mean, it's gangster universe. I mean, you hate each other, and you have your business, but you hate the cops more. So if you own the cops, if you have one on them,
if you beat up the cops, then you'd be,
you're still a hero in their eyes, even if you beat up the guy. Like, that's the business. It's understood between them that that's how it works. But as a child, you see this and you're not gonna understand. So I think you translate it by saying, well, it must not have been that bad if the guy puts him on the pedestal and he idolizes him.
My mom is sort of okay with it. She doesn't make a big deal out of it. My father is still is not making a big deal out of it. He's happy. He's going back home. He's bringing us ice cream, and we eat with my father.
And even
it's like life continue without any consequences.
I think this is what he's trying to do with his son. He's like, okay, this is my life, and in order to stay away from the whole blame thing of, oh shit, I am currently messing up my kid, I'm currently setting him up on the same path and stuff, he's trying to be like, well, no, there's no issue, you're perfectly fine, there's no problem, and you know what, like, you're not depressed, it's just a temporary thing, you're gonna be stronger than that, you'll be better. And he's gonna make him, you know, the ice cream, he's gonna have fun with them, he's gonna give him those memories, and he's gonna act like nothing's wrong. Because that way, he's got none of the blame, and he's safe from the fear that his son is messed up.
I wouldn't say messed up, but he's in a path of
being messed up.
Being messed up, yeah.
Because like, there's no way as a child that you're gonna realize your father's a mobster, and it's fine. Because, like, he acts up. There's no way you can tell a child what you're doing is wrong, you should stop. If you're doing shitty stuff on the side and he knows it, he looks at you and he sees like he sees his father who he looks up to, and this is the type of stuff that you're doing. You used to steal cars when you were 10. You used to do this shit. You beat up guys. This is you. And I look up to you, and I look up to you because I should be like you, and this is the stuff you do. So why am I not doing the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
He's acting up, he's stealing stuff, he wants to be the guy, he wants to be cool, like the people that his dad hangs out with, or like his dad himself. And the consequences don't stick, because to basically punish him and to go through with it, to put value to the issue and just be like, okay, we need to address this, means giving reason to his fears. That it is happening, he is copying you, he is turning out like you, and you're not stopping him.
Yeah, I think we said it so many times. I mean, one of the hardest thing is to admit that you're doing wrongs, that you're making mistakes, and that you have a part of the blame with what's going on, right?
But with Tony, it's so difficult because to basically say that he's doing that, not intentionally, but that he's sending his son, like that, what is the relationship he has with his son, if he acknowledges that, that also means acknowledging what he had with his father. And that means tarnishing his memory, or accepting that yes, his dad was doing shitty stuff, and that basically changed him as a child. He was traumatized. Those shots of him just freaking out because of what his mom was saying, because of what he saw his father do, and he's not acknowledging that at all. Or barely, like I said, he's starting to with his mom, like he's saying, yeah, you said that to dad, right? You stopped him from going out. He's blaming his mom.
Threatened to kill her own children to prevent him to leave.
Oh, but Lydia,
in the first place.
And I think that, I do not want to be saying that, oh, Lydia was the whole problem, because I kind of believe her when she says that, oh, when did he not do exactly what he wanted to do? I think that in a way, if Tony's dad wanted to leave, he would have left. Right? I feel like he was responsible for his actions, and to say that Lydia manipulated him and it's all her fault what he did, and the fact that he stayed there, that's a bit unfair. But that said, she was something else. I think she had anxiety and like what's the word? Like I don't want to diagnose anyone,
bipolar?
But no, but maniacal, like depressive or something like that. Like it looks like she'd get anxious and just emotions would get high. Like when Tony was talking to her, she'd get so stressed, so she was losing it, and it's like stuff was getting on her nerves, and she had no control over how she was reacting. So I think she had issues. It's just that in this family, in this era,
you don't talking
about issues. We don't do that. Yeah. Just how she reacted when she found out that he was going to a psychiatrist, which I am so afraid. She was about to talk to Junior about this.
The first conclusion that she went to when she learned about the fact that he was seeing someone for his problem is he's seeing someone because he wants to put the blame on me. He wants to put everything on me.
But that means she's aware. That means she's aware he has issues. She's aware that he's not okay. But she doesn't want any of the blame. She's trying to shield herself, just like Tony is doing, shield herself from all of that, from the truth. But if we know with her that if she is angry at Tony, if she blames him for something,
she's gonna blab to Uncle Junior.
She's gonna use that, like she's gonna try to put sticks in his wheels. She's gonna try to stop him in a way. She's gonna send Junior after people he's working with, and she's gonna mess things up. And Junior is gonna do it because he's got the power, but he's not even aware that he's being manipulated. And she has so much power. And that's also why I'm saying, like, I don't want to put all the blame on her, but to be fair, if she was like that back in the day, I'm not putting it above her to also be doing that to the father. If she wanted her way, she was going to get her way. So saying she was going to kill the kids if he dared, say he was going to take them away, that's a form of manipulation. You're threatening him and using the kids.
By the way, I'm so glad that I was wrong with my first idea, seriously.
First idea.
About the father and what he was doing with the daughter. So it makes so much more sense, and it's so much better for just using her as a distraction for his shitty deals, you know?
I feel like the family dynamic would have been so much different if that ended up being
Oh
true.
my
But I can't.
goodness.
I also thought about it for a sec. I got paranoid, but it's not better, honestly. Tony remembers it a certain way, and now he knows the facts. Like, he knows what actually happened, but he described it as saying, like, I was jealous. Because back in the day, as a child, you would not understand what it's doing to a kid. Like, you're not realizing it. But when you find out, like, oh, my dad brought me here not because he cares. He brought me here because he used me.
He needed me to be a tool for his business.
This changes the relationship in your eye. Like, this changes the memories. You'd be wondering, like, did he ever bring me anywhere that was not linked to the business? Like, did he ever care about me? Was it a mask? Was he pretending? Like, you'd be asking so many questions once you realize. But it's like Tony, I feel like he's got so many issues with his mom that he's trying to put his dad on a pedestal. But he also is aware that there are many issues between him and his dad, but to acknowledge them would mean tarnishing his memory, and he's not willing to do that. I'm really glad we talked about him this episode. Melfi needs to push even more, because we know about the mom, like, she's still there, but the dad being gone doesn't mean the issues are gone, and he needs to talk about it, especially since it's actively tarnishing his relationship with his son in a way. It's changing his relationship with his son.
Oh, by the way, I just want to bring up the fact when Carmela was talking about, oh, we need to take some time to sit down with Meadow and talk about the business and what was going on, and all of those flashbacks that we saw, the fact that they were just cutting sharply every single time, it's like his bubble was just like breaking.
I feel like, I said it before, but I feel like Tony is constantly trying to separate this business life with his family life, and to have a kid, one of his kids, go up to him and be like, are you in the mafia? Without him ever noticing that she was aware of anything. That brought up so many fears, because he's not in control. The information is getting leaked without him being in charge.
Children are more aware than we could think about.
Oh, yes.
And in a world where information is so easily accessible through the web, through the gossips.
And the thing is, like, if they know about that, what else do they know about? What rumors or what actual facts have they heard about? And how is that going to affect them? He's afraid that he doesn't want them to follow him on this path. And he's afraid that basically his lifestyle is going to affect them. So if they're learning without him being involved, without him telling them stuff, basically he's losing control. He's not the one telling them shit. He doesn't know where the information is coming from. He's no longer gatekeeping or anything. So yeah, I think that those memories, those flashbacks, that's just anxiety. That's the fear of shit. I am no longer in charge. I'm no longer in control of what they know about me, and it's freaking him out. And yes, he needs to talk to her about this, but since she already, talked to him about the issue, it's kind of too late, right?
Brush it off a bit.
And like, if she figured it out without him talking to her, like, and he's still trying to lie to her, he's still trying to, keep things away from her, but other people in his crew were saying, like, yeah, I lied the whole way through, but they still knew. There's no way to control that, and that terrifies him.
You think it's gonna cause more damage if he just continue to lie to his children about what he's doing?
Unfortunately, unless you get out of the world, the influence is always going to be there. Like I said, it's hard to tell a kid not to do like you're doing when they are surrounded by the people of the crew, and they're surrounded by the behavior.
That's the example that you're setting up for children.
Yeah, and I mean, he was saying, like, how come, like, my son is doomed to be just like me, but how come, like, I know people who ended up completely different from their fathers. Like, it's not a science, man. Like, it doesn't really, we can tell what's going to happen. And I feel like sometimes you either become just like your parents, or you rebel and you do the complete opposite.
The opposite, yeah.
It's really, really difficult, but I feel like that happens when the example is extreme. So if you try to force a lifestyle onto your child, or if you raise them in an environment that's so intense and you never address the issues, you never talk about it, you never open paths for them, they feel forced. And if they feel forced, they'll either adapt and follow, or they'll rebel and leave. But that's the lifestyle, unfortunately, and I think that's too late.
But if you're doing this type of lifestyle and at the same time trying to preserve that image of a good father, good family, that everything is going fine, nothing's wrong with it.
But that's the thing. He's not doing the first thing.
They're more going to lean toward that type of life at the end.
He talked about two kids who grew up to be like killers and stuff, and their dad was a businessman. I can imagine that these kids probably grew up in a strict family environment where they had to have straight A's or something. Like, basically, if the father, like, I can only assume, but I can see a father that's like, you gotta do better, like, you gotta be perfect and stuff. Like, he's trying to make them into mini versions of himself, and they rebelled against that, and that's probably why they turned out to be criminals. That could happen like this. There are many, many ways, by the way. Like, it's not science, but that's one way it could happen. He's not like that. Tony is the complete opposite. He doesn't want his kids to be like him, so he's not forcing them through anything. But that also means they won't necessarily rebel. You're not forcing them, like, as a child, like, as a teenager that you try to force towards one thing will want to do the opposite, right?
Yeah.
But he's not doing that. What he's doing is he's bathing them in this environment, making it a normal thing. Like, it's no big deal. There are no consequences necessarily to, like, what he did was wrong. He stole alcohol, and he had to do tests and stuff. And how does he react to this? He gives him ice cream, and it's a nice moment, but he's basically telling his son that he doesn't really care about what he did. He doesn't really care about the issue. So you're setting up for your son and your daughter this environment of crime and shitty deals and just...
They can lash out, they're gonna get a reward for it at the end.
Yeah, basically you're telling them that this is okay, and you're such a cool dad, your son is looking up to you, he wants to be just like you, and this is what you're doing. So he's not gonna rebel, he's gonna want to be like that. So unfortunately, by trying to stay away from that fear of I'm turning my son, I'm gonna make him exactly like me, or by trying to stay away from the guilt of shit, like I'm messing him up, and yeah, he's trying to save himself, but by doing that, he's going towards his fear of his son turning just like him. Am I making any sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
Usually we create our own problems, usually.
He is currently creating his own problem. Yeah, that's for sure. And he's about to get even more issues, because for sure Lydia is coming back with that psychiatrist thing, that therapist thing.
She was about to tell Uncle Junior about it.
For sure. It's gonna come back. I am a bit, like, I'm worried, but I'm also excited to see, like, what's gonna happen later. Like, do we get to see the kids grow up? It'd be cool to see an older, like,
it'd be
TJ.
nice. They got like
enough seasons for that.
Seasons?
Yeah. It'd be cool to see, and I mean, it'd be heartbreaking as well, like, especially if he chooses to go in the same path as his dad, but the drama is good.
Do you think we're gonna have an ending like Godfather Part 3? And one of the child's gonna die at the end?
I hope not. Oh, I hope not.
I hope.
But we don't know. We don't know.
All right.
Okay, so that's it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching it with us. If you want to see the next 2 episodes right away, they are on Patreon already. You can check them out. The link is in the description below.
And if you don't want to, the next one will be on YouTube next week. We're gonna see you then, guys.
Bye.